be effective at still touching our clients. And Simone has done some really cool things. So she's going to get our brains going, and then we can start strategizing some more. So thank you, Simone. Thank you for Kari for being here. And I know that other people are going to be joining us, and we'll just ignore them. If you have a question, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, if you'll mute yourself just so that it keeps the noise down, that would be awesome. And we will get started. Sound good? All right, so let's start off with, I want to ask Simone. Simone, did you do any events before COVID? Oh.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, y'all. Actually, no, I really did not. COVID has been, I always tell all of my friends, COVID has really opened me up quite a bit, because it has given me opportunities to think outside the box, to be creative. And I really enjoyed, coming up with ideas and fun things to do for low cost, because that was the main reason why I didn't do a lot of events. It's going to be costly. It's going to take a lot of planning and things like that. And I get overwhelmed. That's why I didn't have a wedding, because I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I didn't do any events before. No.
Okay, so that's cool. So you went from 0 to now you're doing a bunch of different events, and we're going to get into that in a minute. So yeah. Kari, you went from doing a ton of events, and now how many of you guys have done? I mean, you haven't done any so far, right?
Yeah, we haven't done any since February, being family reunion, and our Amex loves it, but we do not love it. Because not only, were we not doing our monthly events with you guys, some of our other KW offices, we have a builder that we work with, some other just various, things that we do. I mean, we unfortunately haven't been able to do any of them. So it's been hard, even lunches and learns, anything like that we were like in front of our people has just ceased. And so obviously the, online classes have been cool, but if you guys are anything like me, you're tired of it, I'm a super social person. So it's just been really hard to like get past that in my mind. Cause then we think, well, we don't want to lose our contact, right, with our people. Right. Cause sometimes that, not every agent always goes to closing. So we may not see you. That may be the only time that we see you. So it's like, we've tried to get creative with like Facebook stuff, or like still doing contests, like do a certain thing on social media and you get a gift card. Like it's been interesting because we truly never thought we would be in a place where we didn't do 5 or 6 events a month. Like we just didn't. So it's been something. So
I apologize because I didn't introduce these two beautiful ladies for anybody that doesn't know them. So Kari Smith is the
green.
What is your title? Community Relations Party Gal. What is it? What is your title?
Yeah. So my title, it's I also love my little Kari Smith, but she's the home warranty person. I'm Kari Green.
I'm sorry, Kari Green. I'm so sorry.
Girl, it is fine. Sorry. I would love to be mistaken for her. We always joke because we call each other.
I get you guys, your last name is confused all the time, and I know better. So I'm sorry, Kari Green.
No, you're good. So I'm Kari with Thomas & Brown. So I'm our director of client relations. So I've been a lot of different things. I've been a closer and pre-closer and everything. So I know most of you guys just through the years. But yeah, so that, my role moved from like working on the closing side of it to more so agent, just like helping maintain our relationships, planning events, doing classes, all the stuff that we're not doing.
or in a different way anyway.
Yeah, in a different way. No, exactly, for sure.
And Simone, how many years have you been with our office now?
I have been in real estate for 6 years.
6 years, and she's been in our office. She is an up-and-coming, what I consider up-and-coming rock star. She's doing some great things. In spite of the fact that she has small children at home, she's finding a way to make her business work for her, which I really admire. So way to go.
Thank you.
So Kari, you guys were, as you said, you're doing 5 to 6 events a month, right?
Yeah. I mean, not huge events, but that could also entail a class, and even y'all team meetings, like they've been Zoom too. So it's like, we're literally, it's been a big awakening. But yes, back to your question. Yeah, probably between the classes and stuff, I would say about 5. Now, I will say during we usually do like March through October for events like that, because, you know, November is Thanksgiving lunches, December is obviously the Christmas parties, January is kind of boring. Then February is family reunion, you know, so we usually kind of just spread it out like that. So we'll do a happy hour.
So you plan out your whole year is what you're telling me.
We do.
All right, which is important, because if you're going to do events, you need to kind of plan them out all year long, or the times that you're going to do them, to make sure that it coincides with your schedule, with other people's schedule, and so that you can get the biggest bang for your buck, for sure, right?
For sure. And Absolutely. So, yes. And so what we like to do too is kind of do, and this is only evolved in the past few years, because it was normally always just Quine happy hour, whether it be Tin Lizzie's or whatever, you know, and we're like, not everyone can go to happy hour, nor do they want to go to happy hour. So, you know, we tried the last few years. In June, we might do a food truck after team meeting, or I know last July we did the Ben and Jerry's ice cream truck.
That was awesome.
In the parking lot one day. Yeah, and it was just there all day. So it was like, if you were there for a closing, if you weren't there for a closing, bring your kids, you know, bring your whoever, and just come by. And that was really a fun thing, where we got to see people that we may not have normally seen, like in an event. So that was cool.
Absolutely. So how do you identify, and I don't know, Simone, you're doing things very, very cheap, but how do you identify your budget for what you want to spend?
What's that? I wish I had an answer for that. Honestly, it depends on the event. So we know going in, like if we're going to do a happy hour, roughly 50 people might go. We know roughly, you know, you can kind of estimate like, okay, this will cost this much. I normally get a price before we commit to anything. And obviously, you know, an ice cream truck is going to be much cheaper than a Thirsty Thursday. Right? So you just think maybe we have double the people, but it only costs X dollars per person. So we just kind of go into it knowing, you know, and given a little room for, you might have 30 extra people show up, which happens a lot, which is fine. But, you know, go ahead and plan for that, so you're not like sticker shock, you know, at the end.
No, I'm curious. I mean, because an ice cream truck in the neighborhood, somebody could do that as an event, right? It would be a great agent event for your client or your community. What did that roughly cost you guys? Can you give us kind of a ballpark so that we know?
Yeah, so depending on the, you know, package that you get, so they have the basic, which is amazing. I think it's, you know, roughly $6 a person, and you can go all the way up to like probably 10 to 12 per person, depending on the toppings, if you get a certain type of cone, you know, and to me, it's like, it's not that much more. Or, you know, if you're going to have some really cool stuff, and like kids freak out with the toppings, and, you know, even agents are like, oh, I can get a waffle cone instead of a, you know, it's like the little things, it really is. And so just depending on that, just say 6 to 12 per person times, you know, however many people you think may go, 100, 200, you know, normally like during the hours. Cause at first we were like, should we do 11 to 1? And we're like, well, no, cause somebody might have a closing at 3 and we want them to go. So we just did it all day. Yeah. Why not?
But we could do this, we could do that in a neighborhood, and it was, you know, a limited amount of time, and whoever showed up, then that's what we pay for, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can do like a 4-hour package, you know, whatever. And for us, we just picked a busy Friday because we knew more people would be there than not. So that was a good.
Exactly. How about you, Simone? Do you have a budget for your events, or is everything you're doing free?
Most of mine are pretty much free. I am preparing to do something that I'm really putting some cost into right now. And that is, and then with that, I'm still really wanting to go pretty much cheap as I possibly can. So it's called my cheap wine and cheesy tasting. Okay. So it's basically just cheap wine and cheesy, and it's all in fun, you know, and I'm basically just sending out the little miniature wines, the really small ones, mailing those out to the people that RSVP. So that's one of the things that I do too. I have them RSVP and it caps out at a certain amount. So if I want only 10, in order to be able to really stick to my budget. So if I only want 10 guests, it cap out at 10. So if you didn't get in at 10, that's it, you know, and then I mail those out to those people.
Cool. So you're doing an RSVP ahead of time, and then depending on who's RSVP, then you're sending the stuff, and then what are you doing, like a Zoom call together?
Yes, so then we do a Zoom call. So then I'm packaging it all in my cute little marketing box, Homes with Simone. So they're going to get this cute box in their mail with all my information. And this is a marketing piece because it goes just like this in the mail, right?
Right.
So the mail carriers see it, whoever handles it, they see my advertisements. And it's just a little box that have, that's going to have all of the cheese and wine in there. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to keep the cheese cool, but it's just going to be temporary because it's going to be overnight shipping. So then once they receive it, they have the details of the Zoom call, what time to log in, and it's just all in fun. It's cheesy wine, cheap and cheesy wine.
Cute. And anybody could do something like that. How much did those boxes run you?
This box is pretty big, so I purchased 10 for $100.
Okay. All right.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah, and it's not bad, and it's a great idea, right? All right, so let's talk a little bit about the main things that you need to plan when you're doing an event. What do you have to plan? And we'll start with Simone, and then we'll go to Kari.
So with me, the main thing that I did was just come up with the idea of what I wanted to do. So I did a little presentation here for you guys because that's just what I do.
Cool.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
Can you guys see my screen?
We can.
Okay, so of course, the first thing that I did was a buyer's consultation, credit specialist, have people come in during that time. I spread it out over the week. So this was a full week of events. So it was like, real estate for the week, a consultation for the first day, and then credit specialist the next day, have someone actually come in and talk, lender and insurance, just come in and just discuss, the things. Then I came up with doing a talent show. So what I did to advertise this is I did a Facebook event to advertise it to everyone on my Facebook list. And then I did an evite to all of my previous clients and anyone that's in my, my pipeline. And then I, of course, used my newsletter to also, blast this information out, followed by calls and text messages to let people know about it. And with this virtual talent show, it was really fun because the people that RSVP'd, what I did was I sent them little scorecards. So I sent them scorecards so they can cut out, and then I sent them craft sticks, the little popsicle sticks, so that their kids could just, glue it on. If they didn't have kids, it was just like, whatever, just, it's all in fun. So they had little scorecards. So we all scored each other's talent during the time that we were on the Zoom call. So the kids, they did dancing, they sung songs, people told jokes. It was just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I even had one family bring out all of their instruments, and the whole family played a song for us live, and it was really great. So that was really fun. So then what I did was I followed it up with a certificate of appreciation for attending Homes with Simone, virtual thing. So it was just all in fun, just a virtual talent show. It was a way for me to continue to send them stuff so they can be excited about it and just the anticipation of something happening. This was really at the beginning of quarantine because people's like, well, what are we going to do? So I really wanted I wanted to engage, but I also wanted them to feel some type of excitement that something was going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I did next was game night. So I wanted people to get up and move around. So with this, I did name that song or movie. So the people that were on the call with me, I had a list of different songs or movies, and basically had to act it out, such a charade. They had to act it out. They had to say a famous line of the movie or a song for everyone else to be able to guess it. So it was just all in fun. The people that were on the call, I sent them private messages of what their song was or what their object was. The last thing was riddle me this. This is what I wanted to get them to get up and do something. So I told them, you can't say anything. I'm going to give you a riddle. You can't say it. You have to get up and bring it back to the screen in order for you to receive a point. So an example of that is this item can be used to see what is right there, an evil queen used hers to find out who's most fair. So instead of them saying it, they had to run and actually get it and bring it back. And it was so much fun. A lot of people enjoyed that one. In particular, they were asking me for my questions so they can deal with their families and, all types of things. So
cool.
Yeah. So then, of course, I have to do real estate. So I did real estate trivia. How much do you know about real estate? And this is basically was just simple questions from our buyers consultation. When we sit down and we talk to our buyers about what is the cost, what is the average cost of an appraisal? Are you required to have an appraisal? Are you required to have an inspection? Are these things absolutely required for you to purchase a home? So just basically testing knowledge and just having it fun in a really fun way, but also, getting those people that don't know anything or interested in maybe purchasing in the future, their contact information.
Absolutely.
And then the last thing that I did was a quarantine photo shoot. So this is something that we definitely want to document in history, right? We want to be able to go back and say, wow, I was a part of that. So actually, what I did was I said, this is going to be safe. It's going to be fun for us. Come out of your house in your front yard. Not only are they taking a picture in front of their home, a home that I more than likely sold to them, but it's also documented that family time together and is during the quarantine. So, and I just basically stood, back in the front of the driveway or what have you at a distance. And I just took pictures of the families. And what I did after that was I just basically printed them out. I went to Walmart and printed them and I sent them to them and they just love it. Some people never had pictures of their kids. Some people didn't have pictures of them in front of their homes. So it was really a great thing for me to do. And of course,
how much did that end up costing you, Simone?
So I had 8 families RSVP. Of course, it didn't cost me anything because I have some photography skills. So I was the photographer. And the pictures, I would say the pictures maybe cost me $150.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then I printed them out and sent them out. And of course, with my own packaging and of course, everything is followed up with a thank you card.
Yeah, always.
Yep.
Always.
And then, of course, this is my cheap and cheesy wine tasting event. So this is the next thing that's coming up. I'm capping it out at a certain amount so I can control my budget. And I'm just going to send out those little miniature wines and some cheese and some crackers. And we're just going to get on like we are now and just talk and have a good time.
Exactly. That's really cool. So how do you determine, thank you very much, Simone. Kari, how do you determine, no, that's not the question I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you about creating events. So how do you get creative? Because Simone is very, very creative. And I know you've had some creative things that you do too. What do you do to create excitement or different events that are fun that people attend? Because you never have a problem with people attending your events.
We do not, which we are thankful for. Thank everyone who always comes. It really means a lot because nobody likes to throw a party and sit there by themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So we, some of them, I like to think Thirsty Thursday's creative. It's really not. We just try to keep it, at a different location. Like we love Marlowe's, we love Tim Lizzie's, stuff like that. I would say as far as when we wanted to kind of do different things, we were like, okay, like i.e. the food truck after a team meeting one day, that just sounded fun because everyone's going to eat anyways, right? And we're already there, we're already together. So that's kind of a cool thing. Everyone loves food trucks. I mean, I think everyone loves food trucks. So that, and then with the ice cream thing, we're like, it's hot outside. Everyone wants ice cream, so we're trying to keep it like seasonal, if that makes sense. And as far as our classes go, keeping those creative, it sounds, well, I say this jokingly just because to me, everyone's like, do you want to teach a class on title insurance? I'm like, yeah, but it's number one, it's important, and stuff, and like the mid-year contract changes, the ethics class, stuff like that. It's like, okay, this is something that has to be taught. How can we make it fun? So we usually try to do like a giveaway or something, just kind of combining it with like knowledge that you need, stuff that we want to share. And then also, we'll have a prize or we'll do a funny thing on social media about it, just kind of keeping it interesting like
Right.
that.
So there's some great things here. So I want everybody to understand, while Kari is not a real estate agent, right? She's with the closing attorney. A lot of the things that they do, we can also transfer. Like the question that you have, the trivia question, and the first answer, right? And gets a small prize. That can generate as interest on your Facebook account. Doing the,
for sure.
The food truck. I know an agent that during COVID, when everything was shut down, he talked to a food truck and it cost him absolutely nothing. He did all the promotion for the food truck. The food truck went out into the neighborhood. He was there to talk to people and social distance away from, make sure everybody was social distance. But people were thrilled because that was towards the beginning when nobody was going out, nobody could do any, food. And
Right.
people were freaking out because they had nowhere to eat. You know what I mean? They were tired of cooking at home. So it could cost you nothing to do something like that. And doing classes like new home buyer, or like what Simone did with the trivia about real estate. Anything creative that you can generate interest is going to keep people excited.
It is. Well, and too, I think about, most agents that I, know, and you guys know, do like the first time home buyer thing, or, the lenders I know do a lot of like appraisal 101 or stuff like that. Even taking a piece of that information with you as an agent to your client base is really cool. Hey, this is Simone, oh, by the way, I just attended this really cool class and I learned this thing, and then your clients are like, wow, that's pretty cool. She's really smart, like trying to keep everybody like abreast of all the new information that might be coming out. It's just cool. It's really cool what you learn from other people too. And like I have a few realtor friends that have been doing virtual happy hour open houses. So, because people aren't really interested in going to someone's open house. So what they'll do, there's 3 agents on the team and they'll literally film just like we are. They'll line up, some gin and some whatever. And they're like, hey guys, we're here at 123 Main Street. Let's have a cocktail and walk you around and show it. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And I know a lot of you guys have done that too. I just wanted to share it just in case, but just a way that you can still be in there. And like for us, we've added those other 3 offices. So I'm like, I need to put these pictures out, and it's like, have you visited our Gwinnett location? Have you visited Buckhead? Here's some pictures. And I honestly got that idea from them because I'm like, how else are people going to see it? Because we were going to do like not a groundbreaking, but like an open house, to the new offices. But I'm like, number one, if you don't live near Buckhead or Gwinnett, you're not going to want to drive there. But, also just for y'all to see it and still have fun, so I kind of stole that idea. So, not really.
And that's what this is all about, is stealing shit from each other, right?
Sharing ideas. Right?
Exactly. So I'm curious, Simone, how do you determine how much money that you can spend on your budget for your events? Oh, you muted yourself. You muted yourself.
Thank you. Okay, I think it's the same as what type of event it is and how many people I want to invite. What's my budget for the month for that activity? I created a plan for my marketing for the entire year. So I just basically took that and created the virtual events. So just whatever it was that I was going to spend for that month, either keep staying in line with that or, making it a little bit cheaper is basically what I did. So I'm working on a very strict budget, very, very strict budget. I do not go over $500 a month for my budget. So I cap out if I know that if I need to send out things, then I cap out at a certain amount. And I say it's only open to this amount. The first 10 people, the first 20 people, that's it.
Okay, yeah. And you're very strict on that. Now, curious, if you don't have it closing or you're not making your numbers,
right, exactly.
Do you adjust that budget?
I have not been adjusting that budget.
Okay.
I'm still doing business, which I'm very thankful for. I'm still doing business. Business is still great. Even during this pandemic, I'm surprised. I'm thankful, and I'm still on track.
Absolutely. So I think, and interest, is generated in different ways, right? So if we're doing this, it may not come from this, but business still is attracted to us. But you set your budget at the beginning of the year based on how much you were intending to sell. So it ties into your goals, right?
It does. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it's not just, oh, this would be fun and just going and just spending a bunch of money. You have a limit, and that's what you'll spend on that activity, or you won't do it.
Exactly.
Okay. I just want to make sure everybody's really clear on this. We do not just go spend a bunch of money just for the fun of it. It's not shiny apple stuff. There's a plan in place. And as your coach, we will create that plan to make sure that that happens. Okay. So I saw somebody who loves purses. That's her one thing. She absolutely adores purses. And she would get vendors to go in together and buy expensive purses. And I'm talking, Duna Burke and Coach and Michael Kors, and I mean, some really nice purses. And then she would advertise the bag on her business Facebook page. And then she would host an event, and she was doing it in person, but I could see doing this virtually as well, a virtual event. And your ticket of admission is a referral. And for every referral that you brought, you got a ticket that went in, and they drew for the purse, and it cost her nothing to do this. So the vendors are getting exposure, which is great for them. She's getting exposure, and she's getting referrals that get her business that she could then go back to those vendors. So it's a win-win for everybody on that event. So I thought something like that was really a cool idea as well.
Yeah.
So what other ideas can you all think of that we could do virtually, or what do you have in your pipeline, Simone? And where did you get these cool ideas?
I don't know. They came to me at 3:00 in the morning. Great idea. See how I can put that together. It just came to me. I'm always thinking about how to keep my kids engaged and active. And I think it just translated into, well, I can do that with my clients. I can, do that. And it's shown my clients have shown a lot of appreciation to me. A lot of them have, sent me messages and say, you're always doing something for us. Thank you. And I appreciate that. Other people, of course, I'm always following up with pictures and talking about it on my Facebook so that people can know that I did something, because then they're interested in saying, wow, you really do things, with your clients, and you're always somewhere doing something. So I can't tell you how I come up with them. I just think about them and I just say, oh, let's see how that would work, and I put it into action for myself.
So
I make a plan.
Can you see a correlation between the business that you're doing now and these events that you're holding? A direct correlation?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I get people contacting me on Facebook because I'm posting on Facebook, this is what I'm doing, and people contact me on Facebook for business. Yes, absolutely. Because
of your events. Not that they get to participate in them, but they're contacting you because they see you're doing cool things.
Yes, and I heard somewhere before is that even if someone don't participate or come or anything, just the fact that they was invited is good enough.
And I want to chime in on this too real quick. Like, for people will ask for our happy hours, for example, like, can we bring a co-op agent? We'll normally promote that you can. And someone called me once and they're like, what if it's someone that's like never closed with y'all? I'm like, oh my gosh, it's totally fine. And I can probably off the top of my head name 5 people right now that have literally come through one of you guys, and like we got to meet each other. They got to meet Lon or Mark or whoever, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'd love to give you guys a try. And then it just turns into like that. So I just wanted to say that to your point too, whether it be a co-op agent or somebody else, like never underestimate who's invited. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, too. Absolutely.
And it's not that they participate, it's that they got invited.
Mm-hmm.
And
or they'll say like, well, our preferred attorney never invites us to do, and it's just crazy. It's like, well, what's their problem?
Right. Absolutely. It's the same. It's the same. You know, they thinking, oh, wow, my agent didn't do this. My agent didn't, invite me to anything. My agent, where is my agent? So, so it's just, opportunity. It's just an opportunity.
Are you doing any video, Simone?
I do some video. I for the talent show, I did some video. I just recorded, my screen so that I can just do some clips to just put out there. I didn't, do the full talent show and put it out. I want people to want to be engaged. I want them to want to come. So I just do a small clip and say, we're having a great time over here, and put that out. I did pictures of me doing pictures for the people for the quarantine photo shoot, and, just showing the families, showing the people that I did ride around and take their pictures for. I do videos, just basically talking about information, but I don't do a ton of videos, which I probably should.
Okay. I mean, because videos are usually a really great way to connect to people. Very cool. All right. So what do you have in your pipeline for the future? What exciting events have you got? Now, I know, Kari, you've got an event coming up next week, right? Or this Thursday? When is it?
Yeah, so it's next Thursday with the Quan office. So Tracy and Angela had reached out, that everyone was kind of, itching to do one, as my grandmother used to say. And so, they've reserved the whole patio at Marlowe's, and we're just going to try to socially distance as much as possible. I was hesitant at first because I didn't want it to seem like, because Lord knows, I'm just being honest with y'all, because you've seen people on social media. I was nervous about it because I thought, it's going to seem like, well, Keller Williams and Thomas and Brown and Supreme and Silverton don't care. They're just out and about. And it's like, well, no, we're trying, we're doing it the right way. So I assume they'll still be open. Who knows about restaurants, but we're like, we can just give it a try as long as we're following the rules. I think it's okay to do that. So yeah, we're doing Marlowe's outside with apps for each table, so we won't be sharing like a buffet like we normally would. So it's us, Silverton and Supreme co-sponsoring. So I'm excited to see y'all. I know that Tracy said there's probably 25 people that have RSVP'd, so it'd be nice.
So for those of you that are not social distancing, you're going to want to go check it out. What time is it the week from Thursday?
I think it's 5 or 5:30. I'll have to check. I know Tracy sent out that thing. Usually it's funny because she did all that. Normally I do. So I was like, wait, I don't have to do what? Are you sure? It was funny. So yes, she's handling that. But I believe it's probably 5:30, I would think.
Cool. And how about for you, Simone? What do you have? What ideas do you have in the pipeline?
Well, for my August event is the cheesy wine and cheap wine. So I'm doing that, planning for that. I don't have anything else that I have been thinking about because people are starting to come out. So I probably start sending them to Kari events.
There you go. So, well, let's think this through. So during the holidays, a lot of people will do like a pie or some holiday pie around Thanksgiving or Christmas time. And that works out really well. You can go to a local place and negotiate on a price. They're getting advertising for you as well. And then you send out a coupon to your clients and say, during this time frame, you can go and get your pie.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You only have to pay for the ones that show up. So again, it's not that you're going to have, and you can cap it at so many. So it's not like you get, you could lose a bunch of money. You just strategize and plan for that, right?
Right.
And we kind of do that like with our little swag items too, because we'll do like the wine tumblers. We have those beach spikers, and anytime we run out, say I order 500 or 1,000 or whatever, and you run out and I'm like, oh, but so-and-so didn't get one, or, oh, what about this office? And it, at first I was like, well, you can't always have everything, right? Like you can't get everyone that, a pie, you can't, whatever. So it's kind of like becomes VIP at that point. And then I laugh. I'm like, well, these are our vintage beach spikers. Like if I find one, so
Yes.
you really do have to just think, you want to get everything for everybody, but you really just can't. And that's okay. Just make it here's what's available, whatever. So.
First come, first serve. And if you miss out, oh, well, you need to be more Johnny on the spot next time, right? And that's part of it too, is, people think, well, it's going to be available all the time. No, it's not. And that's okay. You don't have to please everybody. Some other events that you could do. I know Patty Jackson, every year she does a barbecue in her backyard. It's a lot of work, but you can do it very, very cost effectively. So when I wanted to do something for my clients, and what I started doing was I make homemade pumpkin bread, and I do it right around Thanksgiving. And I spend a whole day baking, and I make probably 60 loaves of pumpkin bread, and they're the full-size loaves, and then I wrap them up real pretty, and then we deliver those to all of our clients that have bought from us or referred us in that year, and then any potential clients. And so we have a list that we create ahead of time, and it's a very inexpensive way to touch clients, and they absolutely love it. Now it gets to a certain point where, and I'm right at that point where I can't do any more baking. I've got one day, and if I can't do it, so now I'm going to have to leverage that time and figure out something else that I can do, because I need that time back. As much as I enjoy it and people appreciate it, I don't think I can do it anymore, right? So I'm going to have to adjust, and that's okay.
There was an event that Anya did that I thought was really, really creative. She did the gingerbread house contest.
Oh, nice.
Right, so she'll just purchase the gingerbread homes around Christmas time, and then she will send them all out to her previous clients, and then she would ask them to, of course, build it and decorate it and all that stuff, post it on social media, of course, hashtagging her, and then there's a contest to win something for the best gingerbread house. The people will vote. It's not her or anyone else. The people will vote. And I thought that was really great because she's getting her name out there. People are doing something fun. And I thought it was great, especially on social media. You just never know how far that would go.
Good idea. And thinking about all of her friends or those people's
friends. And they're tagging right.
So they're going to see it and the creativeness. So it gets the whole family involved. That's a really creative idea. I like that. I know she's always done the pumpkin patch, which is a big deal. I mean, who knows if we can do things like that this year, but that one you could definitely do even during this COVID time. You could do something like that. That would be really clever. And some of these things you need to start planning now if you want to do that, right? So go and look at, well, how much do gingerbread, kits cost? See if you can get them in bulk. How much are they? And strategize so that you've got them in advance. Another thing that she did that I really liked was she bought a bunch of colored chalk and delivered it to the families that had in her neighborhood that had small kids, so that they and asked them to again draw on the sidewalk, tag her. Again, very inexpensive. I think she bought all those chalk at the dollar store. So there's creative things y'all can do to get people engaged, and you don't have to have business to do this, right? You don't.
And I'd like to chime in with some positive news. I know it's very easy to get stressed out and to think, oh, business is about to tank, oh, whatever. Like, our numbers have still been increasing with new contracts coming in, even from last year. So I just want to pass out a little positive news because it's depressing to watch the news. So the housing market, in my opinion, I mean, this is, Kari's opinion, whatever, but like the contracts haven't stopped, and we're so thankful. So I don't want y'all to get discouraged and think, oh, it's just all over, because it's not. People are always going to have to move. It may not be your personal best year, but that's okay because it's still coming. So please don't lose sight of that.
And with the interest rates the way that they are now, there's no reason for people not to take advantage of it. So you're right. Business is still going really, really strong, which is very cool.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Julianne, but didn't we receive an email from the office saying that June was our best month ever at our office?
It was our best June ever. Yeah, it was our
best June ever. Yeah. During the pandemic.
in spite of a pandemic, yes. And it was one of our best months as a PC group as well. I mean, we did over $250,000 in gross commission income to our clients from the PC team. So it was a really great month. Everybody's working, which is great news. All right, so any other tidbits or pieces of advice when it comes to doing planning, strategizing, or hosting events?
Any other advice? I don't know. I will say, don't get discouraged if you think you have a really awesome idea. And then once you get into it, you're like, you know what, this is going to be weird, or I don't think this is going to work. It's okay. Like, just, move to the next thing. We've learned that, we've learned kind of the time of day to do something. We've learned, where to have things, just stuff like that may not sound like that big of a deal. But like I mentioned earlier, whatever you do, you want it to be super successful, right? You want everyone to talk about it and be like, oh, we had so much fun at this thing. So, you just kind of learn as you go. But just, don't ever get discouraged if you think, man, this was supposed to be so cool and it's not, because the next thing will be even better. So
exactly. Simone, how about for you?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, and not being discouraged when you have an idea. Even if no one has ever done it before, I think just putting it into place and doing it, you will feel much better about yourself, and people will enjoy it as well. So, and like she said, working the kinks out, doing it better the next time around if it wasn't as great. Just keep going.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how many people show up or participate. Nope. It's got nothing to do with that. So what it's really about is the upfront contacts and the multiple contacts to your database so that they know that you're doing it. Some showing of pictures or of the event and make it look fun and make it look busy. And then the follow-up of, oh, I'm so sorry you missed it. We had such a great time. I hope that you'll join us next time. So the follow-up as well is just as important.
And consistency is important too. I've found that we get a better, and I know our events may be a little different than y'all, but I think the point would still be the same. Like, consistency is great, because say that, between March and October on the third or fourth Thursday, this thing is happening, so for you guys, it's like, oh, Janice always does the pumpkins, or Kari, or Simone, or whoever always does the sidewalk chalk in the fall. When people start looking for that in their minds, that's a cool thing, because oh, that worked.
Exactly. In fact, I had somebody that texted me and said, I missed the pumpkin bread. Do you have our new ad, or do you have our address? I hadn't intended on giving them a pumpkin bread this year.
But I made one that night.
But boy, did I make sure that I did, because that's cool that they are looking forward to that, right? So yeah, you definitely need to keep that up, which is very cool. All right. Anything else that you guys can think of, or any questions that you all have regarding events? Be creative, you guys. There is no reason why we can't have connection with our database and stay in touch with them during these times. In fact, I just want to give kudos to Simone. She's found a way for doing this inexpensively and creatively during COVID, and it's actually, I think, improving your business, wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. So go out there and plan some events. And if you need help with that, with planning a marketing campaign, there needs to be a plan in place. You can't just arbitrarily do stuff. You have to have a plan. And as your coach, I'll be glad to sit down with you and create that plan so that you're able to follow through with it. Okay. Awesome. Ladies, thank you so much for your time and attention today. We appreciate your time. And if anybody has any questions, they can certainly reach out to them individually. And we will see you all tomorrow at team meeting, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, all. Bye.
Thank you.